crazy news going around the wrestling world right now. We're going to hit it in 2 minutes.
Hey everybody. Oh Lord, there's no filters that can help this. Hang on, look like I got hammered peaches or something. Anyway, double or nothing. Flew back yesterday. Malachi Black, dude is dude's an animal. All of the House of Black, they're just really, really, really damn good. Um, and as you're about to find out in this video, I guess the house always does win because I gained 2 new friends. I don't really like them. They're kind of like those buddies that just annoy you, but they're always there. I don't know, maybe I'm a Brodium buddy or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I've been feeling really good lately. Been having so much fun in the ring, and I got cocky, I guess is what it really boils down to, and I'm probably a narcissist and egomaniac, and I'll unpack that one day. But yeah, my brain forgets what my body always seems to remember a little late is that I'm 50, and I need to make better choices. So my body pulled the emergency brake on me the other night, and I ended up fracturing my tibia, which is going to require surgery. Don't know the time frame on that yet. Ruby's birthday's Friday, and I really want to enjoy that and focus on all the positives that I have in my life, because there's way more that than the bad, and even this surgery. I know what I got to do. I'll find out the time frame kind of next week and everything. Yeah, sorry, don't really know what I'm going to say. and I'm still half asleep. But so pardon the appearance and all that good stuff. Anyway, I will see you soon-ish. And
So, breaking news. First off, welcome to the pod. We are back on YouTube, and for those of you that are listening on the podcast feed, of course, we are there as well. Shit start to the week, though, in professional wrestling. Adam Copeland, otherwise known as formerly Edge, injured, out for the next 4 to 6 months at least. Broken tibia, that really is awful. And, this literally fell into my lap. I literally was preparing for the show, and I get on Threads, and next thing I know, I'm seeing Adam Copeland out. And I'm like, holy crap, I almost feel bad about being really, really critical of his match with Malachi. I just didn't like it, the finish and whatever, but we'll get into that. It just sucks, it sucks for everyone involved, because obviously AEW had plans for him. They clearly thought more of him with the title than Malachi Black. To each their own. I guess we'll dive into that when we get to that. But it's not a good time for the Copeland fans out there, and it really does suck, because when you put everything into perspective, I mean, he's not even been in the company 9 months, and now we've got this injury concern, and it makes you wonder, right? Like, ooh, is it time for him now? He seems to kind of continually get injured a lot, and again, guy's 50. Injuries happen as well. I do think in wrestling, especially the wrestling fans, they take the injury thing a little too serious. I think they've always been a thing, Sometimes I don't really understand why there are, I don't know how to word it, I guess, why people suddenly think injuries are worse now than ever. That's totally incorrect. I think what it is there's just more wrestling out there. That's something that really, I think, especially the old timers that criticize the new stuff, and specifically AEW, because, they do wild spots. I mean, hey, I'll say this, and even back when PWG was the cool thing, I remember thinking a lot of times, like with Ricochet shit that he would do, and Buck shit that they would do, like, oh my God, where are we going with this? This is a little dicey, right? But I mean, it's also like, I've seen people get paralyzed by like power slams, and I mean, Draws got paralyzed by like a sit out power bomb, I believe. And like, you see those everywhere, right? So it's wrestling in and of itself is a very dangerous thing, and I think I don't know what it is with a lot of fans. They seem to forget that. Like, this is a very dangerous form of entertainment, and when you agree to do it, that means that you basically are agreeing to, hey, I'm going to get fucked up in this ring, and it is what it is, and that's cool. And, I mean, it's rough on a creative standpoint, because, you lost one of your champions, and really Copeland was a guy that they were building a lot around. So now he's out for All In, which I would have assumed he would have been a huge part of that promotional juggernaut going into that show. With rehab, maybe he could make it to World's End. I don't know. Either way, you really got to just move on and go to something else. So then it becomes, well, who do we think could be TNT champion? Well, I have seen immediately people said Daniel Garcia was a big one that I saw. I mean, if they're going to keep the guy around, I think Ricky Starks would be a great addition to the TNT title lineage, because he needs something. Miro could get the title back. I don't know. I mean, you've got a wealth of talent. That's one good thing about losing a guy like Adam Copeland, but man, shitty. Very, very shitty circumstances for AEW after, we'll get into it, but maybe their best show ever. And I know that that is a thing that is said on the internet a lot, but really, honestly, as a show, I'm not saying they were all the best matches I've ever seen in AEW. That's definitely not the case. There were a lot of stinkers. Well, not a lot, but there were some stinkers. But there was a show the day before that from a little company called the WWE. And there's a lot of contention around WWE. I feel like I feel like I've said this 4 million times on this podcast about how, there's so many people that don't watch it at all. There are people that casually watch it. There are people that religiously watch it and make ridiculous takes online. Hey, that's just the world we live in. I'm on this perspective, and I know I've said this on Threads and I've said it at a couple other places. I personally wouldn't feel weird covering wrestling like I do in a very minimal way that I do it if I didn't watch everything, or at least try to watch everything or something, right? Like I would feel disingenuous. I would feel icky. I'd be like, ooh, I don't know about that. So I do watch it. I don't watch it a lot. I'm not going to lie. Like, for instance, full disclosure, I didn't watch Raw last night, but I know what happened, a lot of what happened. So we'll talk about a little bit of that. But the pay-per-views I do watch because that's kind of been my thing with WWE. God, I would say since like 2009 or 10. I've always sort of believed that. I mean, before I met my wife, I didn't watch TV at all, and she got into it, and I was like, well, shit. I can't like introduce you to wrestling, and then the biggest thing in wrestling, I'm like, I don't want to watch it with you because it sucks, and I hate this company, but, to each their own. We're going to, we're not sponsored, but I do have an armless Palmer here from Liquid Death. By the way, unbelievable. Great drink. Great drink if you are parched. Jump on that. King and Queen of the Ring. We had our Riyadh, Saudi Arabia show. Apparently one of like 3 this fucking year because they immediately announced Crown Jewels happening again. And it's like, wow, okay, well, you might as well have just sold the company to the Saudis, right? I mean, Jesus, everybody was talking about how this shit was going to go down back when TKO formed and bought WWE. I mean, it's the money. And at the end of the day, I think all too often wrestling fans, and even myself, I'll admit it, forget that it's a business and you have to be hyper aware of that, because if not, you're going to just come across like a goof. So, a lot of this show, I didn't get it. I don't like it, but it doesn't fucking matter. It's not for me. For instance, the start of the show, Liv Morgan winning the women's world title off Becky Lynch thanks to Dom's apparent interference faux pas. But then on Raw, we had a cage match between Liv and Becky. Have not seen the match. Can't comment on the match. What I can comment on, though, is Dom intentionally helping Liv this time. And Liv retains. Now it comes out that Becky Lynch is going to take an extended time off. That also comes with the caveat that now it's announced that she has not re-signed with WWE yet. We all know that her husband, Seth Rollins, has. I have no reason to think that she will not either. But either way, I think it's good. I think when the reception for Becky winning the title was so bad, and it was so bad, like really super bad. That was a blow, I believe. It was a blow, and I think that it's hard to come back from. It really is. It's kind of like, okay, well, I really need to go away. That's the beauty of wrestling, is that you get to go away. And, that's not really something that every medium has. You know, I guess music you can do that, but not for long, right? You got to be making new music pretty much all the fucking time, pretty much all the time. And in wrestling, it's like you can go away and reinvent yourself. I think that's probably going to be good for Becky, to be honest. So, Liv's the champion. I think everyone can kind of figure out that this is going to be, a setup for Rhea to come back from her injury, and we'll go from there. I think it was inevitable with the Liv Morgan thing. I personally don't care. Not that I don't care about Liv Morgan. That sounds a little cold, but I don't care. I don't know. I don't know how to put it. It's like, I don't fucking care about what she's doing. You know what I mean? It doesn't appeal to me. It's one of those deals. Like, it just doesn't. So, that happens. And then, oh Lord, Nia Jax wins the Queen of the Ring tournament. And I think this was a mistake. Not that I, think Nia's not effective and she's a big, strong heel in a WWE environment where there's not a whole lot of those in the women's division. I get it, right? You want to give Bayley a good contender for SummerSlam, and that's cool, but like Nia fucking Jax, come on. It's not even a personal thing, right? I just personally don't get her as a wrestler. Okay. I feel like you've seen Nia Jax once, you've kind of seen Nia Jax, and again, it doesn't need to be for me. So if this works for people, that's cool. And then again, I don't know. I guess she could. I don't know why she would challenge Liv Morgan. That'd be kind of stupid, right? Two hated people against each other right now. Not good. Lyra, I thought was, that was like the female Finn Balor to me. I think, that should have been like the SummerSlam 2016 push to me. Give her this. She goes to SummerSlam. That would have been a great match, her and Liv Morgan for the World Women's title. That could have even been fine too. Have her win it for a night and then the next night on Raw. There's endless possibilities. We're fantasy booking at this point. But either way, I really liked Sami Zayn defending his IC title against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. That was a really good match. Everybody looked solid. I like that Otis got involved, where Gable's like, come on, basically, come on, pussy. He ended up hitting him on accident, which of course Sami Zayn took advantage and got the win. And, we're seeing the implosion of Alpha Academy, and I think that's for the best of everyone involved, because I just, again, it's something that's been around for a while. They've overstayed their welcome. I think Gable and Otis as a tag did a long time ago, and the group can move on. Not that Alpha Academy can die. I think they could be a good mid-card act. You got Tozawa, who's a solid wrestler. Maxine Dupree, she is improving. She is. And then you've got fucking... Jesus, I'm forgetting. Otis, Jesus. Yeah, I just fucking said his name. There you go. So, I think it's a win-win for everybody, maybe except for Bronson Reed. I don't understand how he's supposed to be this big physical, Bam Bam Bigelow clone when he's losing a lot. Seems a little bizarre to me, but what the fuck do I know? We got the King of the Ring final. Gunther beat Randy Orton. And we've all already seen it. The shoulder was up. That was a really bad finish. It just was. It was a bad finish. I don't know what the deal was with that, right? I don't know. But either way, Gunther had to win, Orton. Does Orton deserve everything ever? Yeah, of course. But does he deserve it right now? No. It is kind of a cool little stat that with everything Randy Orton's ever done in his career, he has never been King of the Ring. I like that. That's cool little trivia that you're like, okay, it's like football, right? It's like Tony Romo had 400 million fucking yards basically, right? But he never went to a Super Bowl. So, I'm not biased at all. I'm not a 49ers guy. Don't worry about it. So, and I like this too. So Gunther wins. They do the thing where Triple H is like, and here's your crown, which I was like, wow, dude, okay, you know. I did like that, like, and your winner. Anyway, and Gunther fucking calls a shot and says he wants the World Heavyweight Championship match at SummerSlam. I like that. You know, it puts the World Heavyweight title over as something people want after the fucking whole build to WrestleMania basically drug that title through the mud. And I don't even know who's at fault, to be honest with that one. Very fucking bizarre, that whole build. And speaking of Triple H, he's got more hot goss here, folks. He's got all the hot goss. It's weird. It's almost like he's running things. And he says, I'm doing it now. Breaking news in Saudi Arabia. Drew McIntyre's getting his World Heavyweight title rematch at Clash at the Castle in Scotland. Boy, if he does not win this title after the shit they had got from the fucking Cardiff show with Roman, I don't know, man. I wouldn't fuck with Scots, okay? I'm saying. I might have an inside scoop on how crazy Scottish people can be, okay? In a fucking arena full of them, I wouldn't make them angry. And full disclosure, another one I didn't watch. I did not watch Cody Rhodes against Logan Paul. May not ever watch it, because here's my thing. I'm not a Logan Paul hater. I'm not. I think he's a very good wrestler. I'll admit it. I think he's a very good wrestler. I think anybody that says he's not is a fucking liar. He's very good. However, I just don't have any interest. And I also knew Cody was going to retain. So to me, it was like, what do I need to visit that? I don't think so. I think I'm good on that. So I was good on that. Because I knew the next night it was going to be double or nothing. And boy, was it double or nothing. Will Ospreay starts the show in a great match for the international title against Roddy Strong. I thought these guys, they did what they were there to do. Great wrestling, back and forth action. I think it's one of the perfect openers of recent memory. You know, it got everyone hyped up, and we got the huge win from Ospreay, the first AEW championship win for him. So, you know, a big historic moment as well. And just when we were like, man, this started off really good. Oh, fuck, TK went, oh, I saw that Saudi show yesterday. Hold my beer, Hunter. Paul. And Adam Cole walks out, and we're like, okay, so Adam Cole's back. He shits on Vegas, and he's talking about the devil, and then the lights go out. It's like, okay. And we got a cool little vignette, and I liked this because my wife actually brought this up too. She was like, it's like Bridgerton. I was like, oh my God. There you go. There's a perspective that... But she's right. You know, it was very much shot like a fucking, you know, like a mini series drama, right? Where it's that POV scene of him walking through this elegant little old house, and we see the memorabilia of MJF. And I like, you know, they did that with Copeland too, right? Where there would be little hints like, hey, we're telling you who this guy is before we even show you. But it's fun, you know, it's fun. And we get the thing where he walks up to the suit coat with the Burberry scarf, pulls out the ripped up photo of Cole, and the other half is him, and he walks out in that Triple H denim on fucking leather combo, and boy did MJF come with hate in his heart. Comes out, low blows Cole after he fucking feigns a hug, drops him with his own move, and cuts the promo of the year so far. Absolutely. He shits on everybody. He shits on New Japan. He literally says, I don't need a Vince McMahon. MJF made MJF. He goes hard. And this was like such a breath of fresh air, because that's what made AEW to start. It really did. People all forget fucking the first show was the Throne Crack by Cody. That was what AEW has always supposed to be. They weren't the establishment. They're not the establishment. I know that's weird because they're run by a billionaire that arguably has more money than WWE has. But it's true. You know, that's the ethos. And I'm very glad that Tony Khan and company have got the memo that this is what you guys do best. Go back to that. Don't fucking, don't cater. Don't just give everything to these ex WWE people. But we'll get into fucking, well, did they learn their lesson later? But either way, this was amazing. And another crazy one was when he reveals the tattoo on his leg of AEW. And he ain't going fucking anywhere. Great return. I can't think of a better way to bring him back. He's immediately, again, back in the saddle as one of the top guys, if not the top guy in AEW. And that's what they need. And especially now with the Copeland news, they really needed that. That was a great call. That leads us to the next match. Again, we're only one match in here, and I'm thinking to myself live, like, oh my God, this is like show of the fucking year already? There's only been one match. What the fuck? The second match was great too, though. Bang Bang Gang retain the Unified World Trios titles against Death Triangle. Great match, Again, another one where just the Lucha Brothers being back, like Phoenix being back, and those three guys together. It's like, man, this is the AEW that I loved, And people forget they were a very early AEW act, so it's like going back to your roots, and this was phenomenal. And the Bang Bang Gang, Jesus, I mean, I feel like this has been a Bang Bang Gang fan podcast at times, and most times, in fact, especially my wife. But just amazing what they've done, and they've been lost in the shuffle a lot too, and they still are consistent. They don't give a fuck. They're on it. So of course they don't win by normal means. They win when Juice Robinson returns, costs Death Triangle the match. I thought it was wonderful. Another one. Fucking 2 returns in a row here. AEW cooking with gas. And then they might have had the best women's match in AEW history. Timeless Toni Storm retaining the women's world title against Serena Deeb. This was great. There were a lot of hiccups, though. I will say that. But even with that, awesome. Awesome match. A lot of teasing of false finishes. I mean, this thing had it all. I really have loved the Timeless Toni thing. And, I was pretty neutral on Toni Storm when she came to AEW. I was like, whatever, right? Because she didn't really get anything in WWE. And she has made an unbelievable fucking act out of really nothing. And it's great to see. And I hope that this doesn't get lost in the shuffle when the title gets dropped and all that stuff. Modern wrestling's bad about that sometimes, where it's like certain people just get lost. I don't think that's going to happen. I think she's gotten so over. I mean, Vegas was losing their mind for Toni Storm. Great stuff. I like the tease, though, early where Mariah May was like, I'm throwing in the towel, and Luther's like, nah. I love that. And, again, setting up that eventual turn. Things have to end, unfortunately. Even for the Mariah Mania people out there on Threads. There's a lot of you. I get it. Next match was great, too. Orange Cassidy beat Trent Beretta again. And this is my thing that I like. I like the Don Callis shit with Orange and Trent. Like, I like that. So, like, to me, it's obvious. I guess I'm crazy. Like, my wife thought I was crazy. It's obvious that Don Callis is going to have Trent join his group, right? But he's doing the smokescreen thing of, like, I love Orange. Orange is amazing. Because fucking Wednesday, they're going to leave him laying. And Trent's going to sign the contract. I love that, though. Make it fucking obvious while not making it obvious. That's, like, wrestling 101, I thought. So I did like that. Really good match, I am kind of bummed out we didn't get the Rocky Romero heel turn and the reforming of Roppongi Vice. I'm an unapologetic Roppongi Vice mark. So that kind of sucked. Speaking of sucking, fucking, I'm sorry, people. I know a lot of you online are huge learning tree Chris Jericho people. I am fucking not. I think Jericho should have went away 2 years ago and still not come back. I don't mean he should be retired. I don't necessarily mean that. I don't. But he's like Foley at one point in the early 2000s. Foley did this too, where he just wouldn't fucking leave. Sometimes you gotta leave so people appreciate you. Because I do think Jericho is one of the greatest in the history of wrestling. Absolutely, I do. I'm not stupid. But I also think he's just worn his fucking welcome out too, you know? Like, I understand he was a pivotal part of AEW. He was there day one. I get it, right? And that deserves a level of loyalty. Absolutely it does. The guy can be an asset in the back. He could be a creative guy. He could be an agent. And I'm sure he will be down the road as well. I think he's a pretty good color commentator, in fact. But does he need to be a focal point of your weekly television show? I don't think so. I think you could use that Jericho rub, but I don't think he should be a focal point. I don't. And I mean, I'll be fair. I say the same thing about Adam Copeland in different ways. I think Jericho's way more washed than Copeland is. I think there's way more on the bone with Copeland. Even, I mean, literally, the guy's on the sideline for maybe half a year. I still think that. I just do. And I'm not a hater. Like, I'm a huge Jericho fan from way back in the day. I just, when I think about it, what has Jericho done that has been really super entertaining in the last 2 fucking years? I can't think of anything. Maybe this thing is the best thing he's done, and I don't even care for it. Big fan of Big Bill. I hate that he's getting lost in this shit. And then, of course, he retains the FTW title against Shibata and Hook in the FTW rules match because Brian Keith interferes. And glad Brian Keith's getting featured. But, man, it's like, did Jericho need to be the manager? I'd be into that, honestly. If Jericho, like, on Wednesday was like, you know what? I'm handing the FTW title to Big Bill and Brian Keith. I'm going to manage you guys. I mean, I would be into that. I really would. That would be an interesting wrinkle. Not this. Not this. I also am like, wow, maybe the rumors are true. Could Hook really leave the company his dad still works for? Apparently. Because I don't know what the fuck else is happening with that result. And poor Shibata, Jesus Christ. He signs a full-time deal to come to America for AEW, and he's getting fucking Jericho'd. Man, good guy, I guess. Jon Moxley and Takeshita in the IWGP World Heavyweight Title Eliminator. Now, another one, I don't know why this wasn't just a title match, especially given the result, because Moxley just wins, and it's like, this is the beginning of where the booking sort of fell off for me here in the middle of this show. I thought the match was fine, albeit I would say maybe a little off. I don't know if Moxley's legit kind of got an injury. I would assume that that's why they're working the whole shoulder thing. But either way, I was like, okay, it's an eliminator. Then Takeshita needs to win this and get some credibility back. Nope, he's just gonna fucking lose. I'm like, wow, where are we going with him? What are we doing? You know, does Moxley need to win? I mean, I understand 5-year anniversary of when he made fucking AEW, you know, famous and on the map, and I understand it. I get it, right? I do. I don't get it here, though. I feel like this should have been the Takeshita coming out party. And it was in a lot of ways. He looked phenomenal here. I'm not saying he's buried. He's not. I refuse to be that internet human that says, "Oh, fucking, this is washed." Nah, he's not washed. He's fine. It's just like, but how many of these can he do before it's like, okay, do you know what you're doing with him? Guess not. And then we get to the match that led to the beginning of the show here. Adam Copeland retaining the TNT title in the barbed wire cage against Malachi Black. This started off really good. It started off very like old school NWA style cage match, which I love, where it's brawling and we're bleeding early and we're using weapons and all this bullshit. And then we went into the more ECW, like, overbooked but okay shit, where like I was even okay with the feigned House of Black turn for Copeland and then just beat the shit out of him. Like, I dig that. That's cool. That's totally cool. And then it got dumb, in my view. I was all about like the fucking Christian crowning of him. I get it, man. 96 ECW again. TK, I see you. I'm all about it. And then Gangrel showed up through the canvas like he's fucking Kane. And I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not into it. I'm not into this fucking deal with Gangrel. And here's why, okay? It's kind of a two-part deal. For one, the main reason is his relevancy has been gone for like 20 to 21 years. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I understand Adam Copeland's helping a buddy, and I know he got fucked over with that whole WWE thing where it was the Demon versus, Edge. That was supposed to be that thing. And I understand this was literally to right that wrong and get Gangrel a payday. And I'm cool with him getting a payday. I'm not cool with him helping Copeland win. That's my only thing. We could have done this exact thing that happened, and I would have been cool had Copeland just lost the belt. And especially now that I know the motherfucker had a broke leg, there was no audible called. Like, my God, Tony, you talk about like making it obvious that you have no faith in Malachi. And I understand, again, if the rumors are true that, he's been very vocal that he wants to leave and he's waiting for his contract in. Okay, then fucking take him off TV. I'm sorry. Why even use a guy at that point? You got a roster of 1.5 million people. Fucking get somebody else in there then. Why bother? Why? It's bizarre. I don't know. Sorry. The Yorkie even was pissed, if you guys didn't hear that, by the way. Very pissed dog. And then, here's another one. I didn't think that the Mercedes Money, whatever the fuck her last name is, and Willow Nightingale match was bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I don't think it was great, though, either. And I seem to be in the minority of that, and I'm cool with that. I seem to be in the minority with a lot of these, thoughts that I have, and, hey, that's cool. I get it. Mercedes needs to start strong. She is the face of the women's division going forward. Anyone that says otherwise, you don't get it. That's just how it's going to be. But I also feel like Willow, was just coming into her own with the title. And I understand that they're going in another direction with her and she's still going to be used and all that good stuff. But I also am like, okay, like, it just didn't work for me, and it, again, like I've been saying, I feel like the name of this show is like, it's not for me. It's not the name of the show, as you can tell, but I don't know. And we're going to get, if you think I'm low on the show, trust me, it's about to get fine, okay? I know I've kind of bitched for like the last 3 matches and segments. I know that, but hey, I'm going to be honest, right? I thought the match was good. I did. And I specifically think Mercedes looked very good coming off a very bad ankle injury that legitimately could have ended her career. So Mercedes is not the problem. I don't get it. However, at the end of the match, Mercedes wins clean, which I thought was interesting. Again, considering when at the end we have Statlander stab Willow in the back, turn heel, Stokely joins her. It's all been a ruse. So we're off to the races on the Statlander Willow feud. And hey, you know what? Again, to AEW, Willow came in later, I guess. I guess she wouldn't be homegrown, but it was her first major company. And Statlander, absolutely homegrowner. It's nice to see at least that Tony's giving his, people that have been there a while, that help build this thing, something and something major. And I'll say that it does feel like something that will have consequences throughout the entire women's division. So good for them. I thought Swerve Strickland defending the world title against Christian Cage was phenomenal. First watch, I was kind of low on it. Not low, but I was like, okay. Felt kind of long. I rewatched it today before the show. I don't think that anymore. I think it was fine. It was really, really good pace. Christian pulled out all the stops, right? It was really sort of like I'm trying to think of a great, it just was the classic veteran putting the young new star over, and Christian took all his shit, he did the fucking job. I think, young wrestlers should watch this as like an example of like, hey man, when you're an older guy, you can do the job and look great. And Christian's like the king of that. I feel like he's been doing that his whole career, but it's nice to see him in a marquee position and it feel like Christian's one of the best guys in AEW. He really is. He's a top 5 guy in AEW right now. He's got a hot act, he might very well be, outside of the new elite guys, the top heel in the company. Legitimately, he's got a lot of fucking heat. So, great match. Swerve was right on it. Swerve hasn't missed a beat. He's their guy. I really do hope they understand this needs to be a long-term run. Don't just throw the belt like back on MJF or something in a month. Don't let this fucking flesh out. Let him have a run. And for the most part, they've been pretty good about that with the world title. It's not really been a hot potato outside of when Phil was involved, because of course we all know the deal there. But either way, we're not going to damper it. Swerve's amazing. I'm so glad, and I said this on Threads earlier, I'm glad that they have Nana with Swerve still. I think that is the money right there. Those guys together. It's like if fucking it's like when Mr. Perfect didn't have Bobby Heenan. It wasn't the same thing, it's one of those acts. And not that Swerve couldn't work without him, but right now, let's go with it, man. They're doing a great thing. I like their act. So now it's on to the next one, I guess. And also, I didn't even mention on the pre-show, they had announced that the winners of the Owen Hart Cups from the men and women's side each get world championship matches at All In. So they basically, hey, again, to be fair, they heard what Triple H said about the King and Queen of the Rings, and they went, that's a great idea. That's a great idea, Paul. Thank you so much for that. We're going to go and take that. Hey, it works. And it also, again, gives All In a reason. It's not just we're doing Wembley again. It's like, okay, we have stakes. And let's just hope that the Owen this year is better than it was last year, because it was so predictable. And that's really the biggest problem with AEW tournaments, is they're very predictable for no reason. Like I said, you have a fucking fool's, I don't even know how to put it. You literally have a treasure trove. That's really what it is, of talent in AEW right now. And you just act like you've got this limited group. Like, what the fuck? It's ridiculous. Also, can we push some guys that haven't had a shot? Like, I don't want to see, like, Christian win the Owen or something. Give somebody that's not had a shot. Make it interesting. I don't know. Boomer rant, I'm sure. But Anarchy in the Arena closes the show, and it should have. The New Elite, Team AEW, and I do believe, I rewatched this one as well today, I believe it is the best Anarchy in the Arena so far. I really do, because a lot of them devolve into like non-matches. A lot of them do, you know, and I get it. And there were times in this one that it was getting there. But I feel like the talent was so good, like as in-ring talent, that they were able to like do the wild brawling with the worker mindset as well. And not a hate on any of the past Anarchy in the Arena matches. Like they're always good and they're entertaining and it's violence, you know. This was the ECW match. This was, you know, I don't even know. It's like Tommy Dreamer and fucking Raven in 96. This is, you know, that level of brawling. There was a lot of great shit here. I was shocked by how much Darby did. You know, I had assumed like they're going to do a wild bump early on and he'll be out of this thing. No, he was just doing wild bumps the whole time with everybody. Then he gets hung from the rafters upside down and fucking super kicked with the Reebok fucking tack sole customs. Jesus Christ. You know, he does a coffin drop off the balcony of the MGM. I remember that. Jack Perry crashes a truck very comically. That was good. You know, that's like wrestle crap that's good though. You know, like that would have sucked if the rest of the match sucked, right? That would have been like the fucking the Buckhouse fucking whatever, what was that, king of the whatever the fuck, where they're wrestling in the back of a truck that's driving in WCW Uncensored 95. Either way, go back and watch that fucking stinker. Either way, this was not a stinker. This was great. I also love seeing Okada in this bizarre scenario where he's just fighting for his life, you know? Fucking awesome. Yeah, this is great shit. You know, Danielson was there for everything, and I did love that, you know, the Matthew, cut the music. We spend 200 grand for every time we play this damn Final Countdown. Yeah. Definitely a shoot. That was for sure a shoot. But I love that Jack Perry gets the win here. Of course, Danielson got murdered by like everyone else's finish before that. But either way, they are really going hard with Jack Perry as a chicken shit evil motherfucker. And that is the move. You know, he is. He beat the founder of the company up. He broke his neck, right? He also, oh, we didn't even talk about it. He was lit on fire. He wins the match after being set on fire. How fucking dope can you be, people? How cool of a human being can you be? So, that was cool. He did try to fucking beat the shit out of Tony Khan again. Got excited about that. Either way, amazing show. As a whole, even with the shit I didn't like, it's show of the year for AEW. And I know everyone says that, and I had a snarky fucking thread today, and I was like, well, if all of you say it's show of the year every month, none of them are. Well, okay, stupid. Or maybe the bar gets set higher and higher every month. You ever thought about that? Oh, maybe, just maybe, you don't remember the Attitude Era, because that's how that went, by the way, as well. Every WWF pay-per-view, for the most part, would outdo the last. That's called good business. That's when you know things are fucking working. What an idea. It's amazing that I've got to even like explain that to people. But either way, we're going to end it on a fun note. The Best of the Super Juniors 31st tournament is going on in New Japan, and I'm a tournament mark. That's why it breaks my heart that AEW can't figure out tournaments. Make them fucking interesting. That's one thing about WWE I'll give them. Even in King of the Ring, they had some upsets, like Lyra Valkyria going all the way to the finals. That's a fucking tournament, folks. That make it a little real. If you're going to do a tournament, you got to make it like sports. You do. Because if you don't, there's no fucking point to the tournament. If all the first fucking seeds in the NCAA tournament win, and it's all just the best fucking seed, what's the drama in that bullshit? It's also not realistic, you know? So I like Best of the Super Juniors because it puts over that, and a great example of that is the fact that Dragon Gate and Noah are both working with this tournament. And so far, they're being treated very well. You know, Hayata from Noah has gotten wins. I think his name is Sia from Dragon Gate has looked very good. He's a young guy. I don't know if he's won anything yet necessarily, but you know that's the point of the tournament as well, right? You get a name by simply being part of this stuff, especially in Japanese wrestling. It's a very big deal. Highlights so far, and I'm not that far into the tournament, full disclosure. I started late. I'm like on show 3 or 4, and there's like been 10 already. I'm really far behind, all right? Because fucking for one, I had the Saudi show and then Double or Nothing. It's like, my God, after that, it's like each show's at least 3 hours. I have no time. And I fucking worked a bullshit shift all weekend, which I won't even get into because it's not important. But either way, I'm trying, folks. I'm trying to really cover it all here. It's too much for one man, but I will do it for you, the fucking vast people watching me on YouTube right now. There's a lot. Either way, highlights of it so far, though, little quick highlights, and then we are donezo with this one. Blake Christian as a Shawn Michaels douchebag cosplay guy throughout this whole tournament has been wonderful. I also love that they make a point to say he's an ROH representative, not AEW, because I mean he does. He does mostly work ROH. I can't fucking remember the last time he did work AEW. And then so far, I think match of the tournament has been Doki against Hiroshi Takahashi. And for those of you that know, you might be like, Doki? Yeah. Doki's fucking awesome. Okay? Doki is like, he was anyway when Suzuki Gun was still a thing. He was like the underneath junior heavyweight guy. And everyone kind of just saw him as that. And he was kind of the multi-man tag, sort of like beatdown guy, you know? Because it's just how it works. You gonna beat up fucking Suzuki? No. So it's cool to see him evolve again into somebody that can fucking be credible and, you know, go against a legend already. And the guy's not even that old. And Takahashi, he's definitely a junior heavyweight legend already. And go to toe. This was a phenomenal match. It went like, God, I want to say like 20, 25 minutes, which is a pretty long match for the Super Juniors tournament. I love it. You know, I can't remember putting on one of these shows over the last week and being disappointed or upset. I like sit there like a kid, like, this is great, you know, fast paced wrestling. And it's a tournament. It's like I don't have to worry about stupid fucking angles or a ridiculous promo. It's just that pure, you know, black tar fucking wrestling, you know? Sometimes you just got to mainline it, folks. So with that, I think that's a great, you know, I'm not going to top myself on that one. So we're going to leave for this week. And for next week, who knows, man? It feels like everything's just either going to shit or coming up huge for wrestling. And it doesn't slow down. We got Clash at the Castle coming up, and of course Forbidden Door. We'll see, you know. Thanks for checking it out, whether you are watching on YouTube live or later or listening on the audio feed. I have a lot of people that tell me, hey, I listen to the audio feed. What's the deal? There was that weird time where I was like exclusive on YouTube trying to just get the YouTube up and running. And I was like, oh, fuck it. Kind of forgot about the audio thing. Yeah. So shout out to the audio people. It's probably more audio people than YouTube at this point. But either way, thank you all for listening to my inane fucking ramblings. Until next time, just enjoy wrestling.